All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It's going to be a call-in stream. We'll go as long as we possibly can before we start, and hopefully we get some guests in the near future. We'll talk about some of the top headlines today. And you should see in the top pinned comment the way to get on the show. If you have the StreamYard app on your phone, assuming you're watching on your phone, it makes the process really easy of getting on the stream. You just got to log in for the first time and give them your Google account, which you obviously have if you're watching on YouTube. And there shouldn't be any hiccups or delays once you get logged in. And I will drop it again because it seems like for some reason people don't see the pinned comment. So I'll drop it throughout the show as I just did, for example. But yeah, the topic is let's talk about who is dropping the most truth bombs in the world. Who's giving out the most relevant knowledge to see through the lies that are controlling the minds of the masses day in and day out. And no doubt that is the truth, that the minds of the masses are controlled by the lies that are told through the television every single day. But yeah, I gotta toot my own horn and put myself up at the top of the list because I don't know who else has been here every single day for going on 13 years straight, showing people the simple way to see through the lies every day. And it seems most people have never caught on to this in their life, even though it's really obvious. It is really obvious. And in my mind, if you can't see the obvious, do you have any business talking about anything else? Does what you're putting out as supposed truth even matter if you can't see the obvious games that are played with you every single day by the numbers? And anytime I hear anybody trying to downplay what we're putting down, I know they're definitely not a truth teller. And I've seen a lot of people in this supposed truth community try to take shots at yours truly and the work we're doing while they talk about nothing every single day and send people astray. And I see, a dedicated troll who's one of the first to comment now. He said David Icke's been telling the truth for 30 years straight. David Icke, controlled opposition, who started out calling football games in the UK, has been telling people that a lizard race runs the world. I don't know that to be true. Is it possible? Sure, but go up to your neighbors and tell them that a lizard race rules the world and see how far that gets you with helping them see the forest for the trees. So that's a laughable comment to start. And don't forget, David Icke comes from the world of celebrity. But case in point about by the numbers, here's CNN's front page today. We'll cover the story front and center and how by the numbers it is. But look at what's up here in the top left corner. Mom Donnie. I didn't see anybody in the world mention that Mom Donnie was 33 years old when he won the primary, shockingly, on modern Freemasonry's birthday. And again, this is because people aren't properly educated. Everyone should have saw that right away. Wait a minute, a 33-year-old? If they know what we know, then they know why that's extra important in New York, especially in light of him being Islamic and what they did there on September 11th, 2001 with the big lie about Osama and the cave dwellers. But yeah, again, look at the story up here. What everyone is missing about Mom Donnie's plan to tax Ken Griffin's $238 million penthouse. So I thought when I opened up this story, it was going to talk about how CNN was reporting by the numbers like they do every single day, and how they saved this story for May 7th, the day leaving 238 days left in the year, but that wasn't anywhere in the article. And I thought, oh. And then I read the article and there was nothing worth knowing other than it was news by the numbers. But yeah, you guys, today is May 7th. It's the 127th day of the year. If you can do elementary mathematics, 127th day must mean there's 238 remaining days. And just in case the person out there that's like, I need to see it in front of my face. All right, here you go. May 7th, 238 days remain, okay? So this is one of their big stories today. On the day leaving 238 days left in the year. This. And it reminds me of, for some reason, it reminds me of our withdrawal from Afghanistan on the Jesuit order's birthday, and then the bombing at the airport there in Afghanistan that killed 13 soldiers who were sent home in caskets with the 13 stripes around them. You might recall there was a lot of 238 in that story, which is connected to ISIS-K, which obviously is this Islamic terrorist group that now comes to the White House and visits Donald Trump because that's the new leader of Syria. But anyway, I don't know if that's part of it necessarily. But anyway, here we are on the day, leaving 238 days left in the year, and just another example of news by the numbers. Now, something else that's showing up in my feed today is some race baiting crap. And I even noticed that CTE, you know, our favorite resident idiot that we like to debate with, or at least some of us do, I even noticed he's covering this race baiting topic that's viral right now. Have you seen this? This white guy who went in a Walmart and started calling one of the black employees the N-word, and a lot of people are talking about this like it even matters. On the day leaving, 238 days left in the year. And it goes to show CTE is probably on some kind of payroll to get online and do the race baiting show that he does every day. Because this is the kind of stuff people are stuck on, the race baiting. Just like how, and again, it's so obvious too. We get Barack Obama, a presidency focused on breaking a racial barrier. And then in the time of Obama, what does the media do? What does the media do? Makes everything about race. Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, on and on and on. All these stories. Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, on and 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 on. So obvious. Everything they do to us is so obvious, and somehow people don't see the so obvious. So the story that's front and center here, Iran imposes new rules for Strait in bid to secure wartime gains. Today's the 127th day of the year. This new commission that they just put together has imposed its first rules today on May 7th, the 127th day of the year. And what does the new commission equal in this simple code of letters and numbers? Persian Gulf Strait Authority. 127. Slower people, they'll go, so what? So what? So what's that prove? Well, it proves a lot if you have a brain. It proves that whatever's going on in Iran, just like all these countries in this new world order, which we've been told about from our own presidents for decades, it shows that they're all operating the same way. They're all operating the same way. So that in itself reveals a lot. Do you think there's really much of a division amongst the governments of the world if they're all operating the same way? Instigating war by the numbers, having meetings together by the numbers, stuff like this by the numbers every single day? Or is this the evidence of what the new world order is, again, like we've been told about by our own leaders for decades? And everything about this war is by the numbers. And we almost nailed to the day what day this war was going to start. But yeah, it should be quite revealing. The problem is a lot of people, just not any intelligence up here, no critical thinking skills, no ability to think outside the box, no ability to connect the dots, no ability to see the obvious in front of their face every single day. But then the way their minds work is if they hear everybody saying the same things and they're like, that must be the truth because everyone said it. Every person that popped up in my feed said the same thing today, so that must be the truth. Then they're not smart enough to realize, oh, that's also how it works. They have all these controlled ops on here, all reading off their bullet points, just like when you turn on your TV. They're all reading the same news stories with the same bullet points and saying the same phrases. They took over the internet because they knew a lot of people moved from the TV to the internet. So now they pay these internet personalities pennies on the dollar to say what they pay a Anderson Pooper Scooper or a Jake Tapper. You can pay these people on the internet pennies on the dollar. Instead of one Jake Tapper a year, you can buy 100 controlled ops on the internet who will get on and do the same thing every single day. Jake Tapper costs about $10 million a year for CNN. A bunch of little, CTEs and up to Ian Carrolls. Again, just getting on here, filling up the internet with a bunch of bullshit, drowning out, just like how they simulated in the Event 201 simulation. If you still haven't watched it, they talked about essentially, what do we do about the people exposing us online? And then they vote on... Hold on, I got somebody at the door. I'm not sure who. 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay. It was just somebody putting a flyer in the door for yard service. All right. But yeah, again, I mean, how perfect. The Persian Gulf Strait Authority, 127. And notice what they're asking for: vessel information declarations, which for the record equals 129. So we'll see what happens in 2 days on the 129th day of the year with this. We'll see if they got something further about that. But these rules mandate prior authorization, specific route compliance, and reported toll payments, formalizing Iranian control over the critical waterway. So more surveillance, more tracking, more government funds. And I'd maintain to you that, again, Iran was overthrown by the U.S. CIA, which was created in a Jesuit ritual, literally on the Jesuit order's birthday in 1953. There was never any announcement that Iran was given back to their people. They had their revolution starting on the Vatican's birthday in 79, another big Jesuit code number. Just like how that number is encoded all over this recent operation to attack Iran. But yeah, I'd maintain that this new world order, this hidden hand government, that really this is just giving them more power and control and wealth over the world. And of course, tolls, tariffs, all these things are taxes that will increase the cost of goods worldwide, including oil costs for everybody worldwide, where pretty much everything's connected to oil. If oil's not actually in the product, oil's part of the product because of transportation in a world where everything is being shipped to stores and more as time goes on by Amazon to your door. So anyway, seems pretty obvious to me. And then this, here we are on 58 date numerology, and I've been a broken record for, it's almost been a decade now that Epstein's supposedly been dead, and I doubt he's dead, but I've been broken record about all the 58 rituals with Epstein. So here we are on 58 date numerology, and everyone's covering his supposedly self-deletion letter. So on the 58 date, a lot of networks covering this, CNN's front page this morning, and on and on and on, and yeah, it's just, what else is new? What else is new? A note Jeffrey Epstein's former cellmate claimed he found after the millionaire sex offender's first suspected jail self-deletion attempt was made public Wednesday. So it did break yesterday. A lot of the news saving it for today. Years after being sealed and locked in a courthouse vault as part of an unrelated legal dispute. U.S. District Judge Kenneth Karras. Notice today, this is making the rounds. Kenneth Karras, 127 on the 127th day of the year. U.S. District Judge Kenneth Karras in White Plains, New York, ordered the release of the note after the New York Times asked him last week to unseal it and other documents in a case involving former cellmate Nicholas Tartaglione. I didn't look into that. Federal prosecutors did not oppose the request. Few people had known about the note until Tartaglione, a former police officer serving a life sentence for killing 4 people, mentioned it last year on writer Jessica Reed Krause podcast. And again, if people recognize just all this stuff, he killed 4, just the number of death and killing. But yeah, this making the rounds on the 58 date. And again, how many more times can we talk about it? And speaking of which, last time I went on Christian White's show, let's just see how that show opened up. And the point I was making that day about the latest news and Epstein and 58.
That it was actually the knowledge of some other group. Let's just say for modern day terms,
I know we're talking about 58
some kind of satanic.
In a big way.
And welcome back to the show. And joining us today is returning guest Zach Hubbard, the founder of GematriaEffectNews, and he's obviously been a vocal, critic, if you will, of those who don't see the theatrical elements of society and the clique/cabal that is running the show. Zach, it's always interesting to hear your thoughts and your mental model of things. And I know we spoke offline about focusing on really the core of your thesis and kind of getting more granular as it relates to your mental model of the world, of the power structure, and the history too, if you care to dive into that with us. And then obviously you wrote your book Letters and Numbers, and so I'd love to touch on that at some point, as well as if you want towards the end, your kind of thoughts on society and what you're seeing out there. I thought it was an interesting dialogue we had on the previous episode, wherein we covered some of that stuff that I think is really germane to a lot of people out there. So it's great to have you back and to hear your thoughts here.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. This is the fourth time, and I hope the audience enjoys what we have to discuss today. I do like to lead in with just something we talked about in a previous broadcast. I educated about the Epstein files and the significance of the ritualism around the number 58 with the Epstein files. We're doing this broadcast today, February 26th, the anniversary of the World Trade Center bombing in 93. I think somebody might have been born that year in 93. Happy early birthday coming up, I know. But yeah, that was shortly after Bill Clinton took office. And again, a lot of people don't know, but Bill Clinton, his biological father was Bill Blythe. Bill Blythe was found dead in a ditch May 17th, 1946, traveling back from mobster land, some might say, Chicago. And the police said nothing suspicious about it. I believe they think he tripped and drowned in a shallow puddle of water, if I remember correctly. But a lot of people don't know this history about Bill Clinton's biological father being found dead 3 months before he was born on August 19th. Bill Clinton's mother remarried into the Clinton political dynasty out of New York. And how interesting that right after he became president, you had the bombing of the World Trade Center. And then shortly after he left, of course, Bush took over. And then those buildings came down. A reminder that the day of the 93 World Trade Center bombing, a cult classic of a film, if you will, came out, Falling Down with Michael Douglas. For anyone who's never seen that movie, highly recommended. Great scene in there where Michael Douglas tears up the corner store owned by the Asian man over inflation, and there just happens to be a street sign inside the store on the background that says Corona. I think we might have printed a lot of money during Corona while somebody was saying China virus or something that really did cause a lot of inflation, even though he blames it on the next guy. And that's part of the reason we have the political system where they can just install the next guy and everyone can blame them. Or, like in the case of Bill Clinton, when the economy was soaring, the Republicans said, it doesn't have anything to do with Bill Clinton. Those are Ronald Reagan's policies finally kicking in. And that's part of the reason we have the political circus that it is, if you will, where nobody has to accept responsibility. You can always pass the buck on to the next guy or the blame, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, coming back, I did make the point that those Epstein files, they've been all about 58. Tomorrow, February 27th, the 58th day of the year, the anniversary of the first batch of Epstein files being released since the new administration came into power. And who's taking the stand tomorrow for the Epstein files? None other than Trump's old best friend, but his new political rival since he got into politics, Bill Clinton. And again, it's not an accident, you guys. Just like Andrew's 10-minute arrest. Last year, he lost his royal family titles on November 3rd, the day leaving 58 days left in the year over the Epstein files. Again, if you haven't caught the prior 3 interviews that Christian and I have done, I like to talk about numbers. Again, there's this powerful secret society. They have one of their headquarters in D.C. They etch on the temple, all is number. All is number. It's a Pythagoras quote. Some say Pythagoras was the first Freemason. Again, gematria is the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words. Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah. But in this code, Freemasonry equals 58. As does Rosicrucian, as does Secret Society, as does Solomon's Temple, as does Epstein files. And remember, Epstein died on Tisha B'Av to remember the destruction of Solomon's Temple, which was 58 days after Trump's birthday, not long after he won the 58th presidential election while announcing from the 58-story Trump Tower. He had his convention in 2016 in the Cavaliers Stadium where King James played at the time, who had just won the finals on the real King James's birthday. The King James, who has the Protestant Bible named after him, who died at age 58. You might recall Prince died that year after his girlfriend died the day of the 58th Grammys. He had the album Purple Rain, which equals 58. He did the song Black Donald Trump. He died right before his 47th birthday. Of course, Trump equals 47, and he now is number 47. But yeah, this 58 thing, it's just been huge with the Epstein files. There's been so many rituals. And think about this. I mean, Bill Clinton, you can't get a bigger name connected to the Epstein files.
He's going to give his testimony tomorrow on the 58th day of the year. I know Christian has a catalog of interviews to upload, so you might not see this until a couple days after, but yes, Clinton will have gone through his testimony on February 27th, the 58th day of the year. And as for my thesis about who's behind all of this ritualism, a lot of people in the truth community, that they stop at Freemasonry and also the small caps. Again, they tend to be the ones that are mostly into Kabbalah, which Freemasonry is based in. But there's an order that's responsible largely for modern Freemasonry, and that is the Jesuit order. And again, the Jesuits, they're responsible for the calendar. They're responsible for the English language as we know it. They're an order that's largely been forgotten about in modern society. At the beginning of the country, you had John Adams and Thomas Jefferson warning about how they could subvert the nation. And of course, those two died together on what we celebrate as the nation's birthday, even though it really doesn't make sense that it is the nation's birthday since we declared independence on July 2nd. We can get to why that is maybe later in this interview or at another time in the future. But it's just the fact that those were the two most outspoken founders against the Jesuits, and they just happened to die on the same day. How strange. The Jesuits, again, if you look into our education system, look into it. Don't just take my word for it. Look into these things. Our education system is largely modeled after the Jesuit order and their school systems. And if you really don't know who the Jesuits are, they are the military order of the Pope. They have the biggest private school network in the world. They have the biggest private hospital network in the world. They have the biggest orphanage network in the world. They're as an order, as the church, they are the biggest landowners in the world. The Catholic Church is so powerful. I listen to your guests, and they're not like they're not much different than most of the people in the world who've looked into things. A lot of them come to this conclusion that it's the small caps that run the world. But again, you dig deeper, you're going to see there's something standing behind them. And again, is there a continent in this world where the majority faith is the small caps? Because we all know the answer to that, and it's no. Now, you look at Latin America, it's almost all Catholic. The Catholic Church is in every nation in this world. Small caps aren't even allowed in China. The Jesuits have been in China since the 16th century. And that's part of why the Jesuits have made this argument that Christianity and Confucianism are very much connected. This was part of the politics of a long time ago. But the Jesuits and the Catholic Church, they are the thing that actually has the infrastructure to be that world power, that new world order. And again, a lot of people know this word Illuminati. That was literally created by a Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt, right before the American Revolution. Illuminati is clearly an Italian word, illuminated in the knowledge. So, yeah, about those Jesuits, again, Trump and, just to make a point, Trump and Clinton, these supposed political rivals now who used to be best friends when the majority of their career, they're spending a lot of time in New York, both as Democrats. Let's not forget, Trump was a Democrat his whole life until Obama became president. And now he sits up there and talks about crazy Democrats. Like, okay, I guess you were a crazy person for almost your whole life then. But yeah, Bill Clinton, the 42nd president, Georgetown grad, just like Hillary. In Gematria, Georgetown equates to 42 like Jesuit, like he was number 42. And again, not an arbitrary number. But coming back to the Jesuits and Epstein, I talked about how tomorrow, the 58th day of the year, Clinton will be talking Epstein files giving his testimony. Remember, when Epstein supposedly died 58 days after Trump's birthday on Tisha B'Av, to remember the destruction of Solomon's temple, which was destroyed by the Babylonians for sexual immorality as the number one reason why they tore it down. Just think about that parallel. That was also 271 days after the Superior General's birthday, who's the Venezuelan right now, Arturo Sosa. 271 is the 58th prime number. Again, it's the Jesuits who gave us the calendar and are responsible for standardizing English with the 26-letter alphabet, which are things that were both done at the end of the 16th century. A very important century, a century of new scientific understanding and the sun being the center of our world, like how the Jesuit order's logo is the sun. again, you look into these Jesuits, they've had so much influence, not just in politics, not just in the calendar and the language. Again, in English is becoming more and more the language of the.
Anyway, if you guys haven't seen that interview, it's on there. You can just search Christian White interview part 4. I don't want to keep people in the back waiting too long, but you know, it's interesting. He had me on a lot there in about a month's time. And right after that, I'm about to get into how they're about to take out Khomeini, which happened, we said that was February 26th. So 2 days later, Khomeini got taken out. He has not had any correspondence with me for the most part since then. And he told me he was going to work real hard on getting some debates going with, because almost everyone who comes on his show blames everything on, you know, the small hats. And he's brought on the small hat blamers probably 4 or 5 times since I was last on there, his routine small hat blamers. So, again, talk is cheap to me because he likes to talk a lot when the interview's over, just behind the scenes. And he's like, you know, Zach, I agree with you. All this small hat stuff, I don't think it's right. I think you're on point. But see, that doesn't make any sense to me because everything it just makes me wonder about everybody. Anyway, what are you going to do? We got Julius in the back who has the comment up on the screen. I didn't realize. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, Michael Jordan in Gematria equates to 238. Kobe was born on 23/8. There's actually some important things about this 238 number, but I didn't know this guy who's front and center today with the Mom Donnie thing on the day leaving 238 days left in there. I didn't know he's who took over the Hornets from Jordan when he supposedly lost the team. So let's get Julius on here. And what's up, Dr. J?
What's up, Zach? I want to clarify this. Wait, hold on. There's echo, bro.
Hold on. I got to hit that button. Yeah, because you can't play a video without hitting the button. And then if you don't hit the button, then it has echo. All right, you should be good now.
All right, so I want to clarify this. So Ken Griffin isn't the majority owner. The majority owner is Gabe Plotkin. So Gabe Plotkin, he had this what's called Melvin Capital, and his hedge fund did really well. Until in 2021, they shorted GameStop and they lost $2 billion.
Okay.
So this is the majority owner, right? And Michael Jordan at the time didn't have any money, but Gabe Plotkin was like, oh, you know what? I got an investment for you. Like, I'll take care of you. You make a lot of money. But so when they lost, Jordan did not have the money to pay back. So what did Michael Jordan do? Oh, I don't got this money, but I have a $2 billion franchise team. So he sold the team to Plotkin, who was not reimbursed, but he was provided emergency fund by Citadel, who was owned by Ken Griffin.
I see.
So Ken Griffin gave him $2 billion as like part of not a buyout, but just because his company ended up closing. So he had $2 billion, which he then used to take the majority ownership over Michael Jordan, and Jordan was forced to sell. So Ken Griffin doesn't technically own them, but he was the one who provided the funds so that Gabe Plotkin could take majority ownership from Michael Jordan, because MJ said, well, I'll have the money to pay you back. You said you're going to make me money. You know what I mean? So that's why Jordan sold it. So I want to clarify. Ken Griffin's not the majority owner, but his funds allowed Plotkin.
I got it. So it's all kind of, it seems like when you look at it as a devious scheme to.
Yeah, no, that's literally what it is. And I remember I actually brought this up to you 2-3 years ago. And it's funny that this is coming back because GameStop equals 33.
So what do you think about the guy in the chat who's saying that's because all this stuff's just a simulation? Is that how it feels to you, that this is just a simulation today, or does this feel like some purposeful manipulation?
I mean, I don't really. I feel like simulations you have like less like lack of control over. I feel like this is very controlled.
Exactly.
And very.
Exactly. When all these people in the chat who promote this simulation idea, what you're doing is you're helping the people who are scamming us by this code get away with it. And that seems to be the more common idea. And I've noticed this religious weirdo clique that's taking over this community. They're all promoting that idea, too, that this is just the way the universe works. And so then you have to believe that 9/11 was just the way the universe worked. Cooties 19 was just the way the universe worked. This hantavirus story and everything else. You just have to think that, yeah, this is all just the way the universe works.
This whole religious community, they got it wrong. First of all, if you follow, like I've told you, if you follow the Bible and you follow Yeshua, you don't follow religion. You don't follow organized religion because it's garbage. But that's a whole different conversation. And then the last thing I wanted to say, I believe Ken Griffin is currently 57 years old in today's 5/7. But yeah, I just wanted.
Go figure.
I really just wanted to.
He's also 57.
Yeah. And yeah, but I really just wanted to clarify the Michael Jordan thing real quick. That's all I had.
All right, Dr. J. Nice
All right.
work.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, we got A up next, and then we got CJ, and then we need somebody who has 3 letters in their name, and then 4, and then I'll know we're in the simulation. So first is up A, and then CJ. What's up, A?
Hey, Zach. So like, hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So like, what makes you think your like 4-base cipher method is so accurate?
Hold on, I'm going to answer. Somebody's at the door again. You can filibuster for me if you don't think it's accurate. I'll be right back, but I will be right back. I just got to get the door. Okay, I'm back. Were you sharing anything there? Because it sounds like you're challenging the 4-base method.
I just think it opens up too many possibilities for the connections.
So elaborate.
Well, it's just not really a solid. It's not really solid. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can kind of fit your narrative with the way you decode. And I mean, other than that, your channel is mostly negative, and you're a very contradictory person. I mean, pretty much none of your videos are positive, yet you give life to another avatar in this game. And in the past, you've spoken about how people need to open up their thinking via cannabis and shrooms, and how like, oh, you used to have a buddy and you guys used to pick shrooms off of the highway or whatever, wherever the heck you used to pick them. So like, I don't know, you think this world is so messed up and you're pretty much never positive. Yeah, you're bringing in life into the game. So what are you going to do? You're going to pick shrooms and give them to your daughter? Is that what you're going to do, Zach?
Again, we can cover all the different things you brought up, but I wanted you to stick to the 4-base cipher as your opening statement.
Well, yeah, I think overall you're kind of actually over time proving that your system is garbage, and all you really do is focus on the sports, which is pretty much as deep into the mainstream as you can get. So you're actually not freeing anyone out of anything.
So for all the people that don't watch the sports games anymore because they now see it's rigged, and they don't sit on their ass all Saturday and Sunday watching football because they see it's rigged, that's not helping people.
But you're not even bringing up the real important rigging of the games.
You're
Why
not
don't
getting
you talk about Arsenal?
You're not getting into your argument about the 4-base ciphers, because I mean, I've been here for 13 years now, showing day in and day out how this system works and how all these ciphers.
I've been watching you since 2018. I don't even need to get deep into it. Your system is bullshit. You don't even talk about the important shit. You don't talk about how Arsenal.
So hold on. So I didn't write a book showing how every one of these ciphers was used numerous times, and say probably the biggest event of our lifetime. I didn't show numerous times how all these ciphers on the screen were used for that thing in the nonstop ritualism, including how they overlap 3 times with the first governor Jesuit educated to lock down his state. I'm talking about Gavin Newsom. We didn't go over things like a million times.
Listen, Zach, your work's interesting. And yes, in the past, I've had to prove into someone to their face by opening up an encyclopedia, proving to them about the 77 code with the Pentagon. Because yes, they have changed the height of the Pentagon.
They changed it back to
So
77 finally. How about this?
yeah,
Well, this thing. So here, let's talk about that. Here, since you brought up that, so we haven't talked about how all 4 of those ciphers are super important in the supposed attack blamed on the cave dweller.
yeah, Zach, it's important,
Hold on, did it happen 185 days after Bin Laden's birthday?
Zach, but the point is,
Did it
if
happen
we're
on
actually
the
going to
Super
change, we need
77
to.
day in the Super 77 ritual? Did it happen 247 weeks after the head of the CIA took office? Did they open on the 94th day of the year? Does terror equal 94? And on and on and on. I mean, there's a million examples of how these. So you said, why are these 4 ciphers relevant? Wouldn't you say what this is one of the most important things that ever happened to us too? Wouldn't you say it exposes quite a bit about that structure?
Yes, but you bring up the point of how they want to capture the mind's eye of the masses. So what good are you really doing by constantly bringing up the sports numbers? Because aren't you not giving them exactly what they want, just
So when you hear
indirectly?
people call in like cousin Mar, who turned $85 into 85,000 and got himself off the streets and got an apartment and got reestablished and now drives a tow truck and makes a good living, you don't understand the
Okay,
elements of a story like that. But how many people have you helped go from homeless to in a home and employed and doing quite well?
all right, man. Like, don't even get into the sports money, because there's so many people that have
Okay,
lost
so what
money
else
from
did you bring
you.
up? What else did you bring up? You said everything I do is negative. So
Yes,
when you
yeah.
when
So
you hear
why
people
you want to
call
bring?
in and say, when you hear
Yeah,
people
you
call in
talk
and say
about how
that
there's
you helped me get
these.
healthy, you've helped me fix my priorities. Is that negative? Getting healthy, getting financially established, are these things negative?
All that's irrelevant to what your overall viewpoint of this world is. You
Well,
made
so
it
what is
very
my
clear
overall
that
viewpoint
you
of the
think
world?
this world
What is my overall viewpoint of the world?
you've made it very clear, Zach, that you think this world is completely corrupt. And so why would you want to bring another avatar in this world? Why do you have a
I don't know
daughter
what you
if
mean
it's
by
so?
another avatar in this world. I don't know what you mean.
Why you think bringing a daughter into this world is a good idea then? If you think
You're referring to
everything is
human beings as
corrupted.
avatars? Human beings as avatars, huh?
Yeah, because this is a game, Zach, and you're playing people, and your sports
I'm
bets are
playing
shit.
people. I'm
Yeah,
playing
your
people.
sports betting is garbage.
How's it garbage?
Because you can keep making videos all you like, but you know how many people have fucking lost money, Zach? It's some bullshit.
Well, there might be some people who've lost money, and I'd say that's mostly their fault. I know that there's a reason that there's been thousands of people signed up for my service since I launched it, and a lot of them have stayed there the entire time, and that's because they've consistently won. And you know, when we went on CTE show, a lot of people who've been in the community for a long time went on there and explained how much more money's in their bank account, how they don't have a 9 to 5 anymore. So what you're saying right now is not true. You're going to the minority, the opinion of people who are dumber and who don't listen and can't, you know, follow basic steps.
Oh, okay. So
So
that's what
when
you
people
like.
call in
That's
every
what you
morning,
like.
when people call the show every morning and they're grateful for the knowledge and they talk about how much they're winning, you know, Kelvin, who sends big tips almost every single day and says, you know, that a few years ago when he found me, he'd lost a lot of money in Vegas. And somebody said, hey, check out this guy. Calvin told this story. I can't remember if he told it on CTE's panel or in one of my open streams, but he had lost a lot of money in Vegas, like a lot of people do. And then he saw my advice that day, and he ended up winning all of his money back that he'd lost and more that day. And he's been riding with me for years ever since. So what are you talking about?
Whatever, man.
I don't know why you're getting so frustrated. I'm just talking about reality.
Okay, so why you like to hype up that people should open up their minds via drugs? You're gonna give your daughter shrooms when she's older? Say, hey, you're
You know
gonna
what?
become a great
When
decoder.
my
Here's some
daughter's an
shrooms,
adult,
honey.
when my daughter's an adult, I probably will teach her. Well, I mean, we're going to get on the same page as mom because mom doesn't have the experience. But maybe we'll have mom have the experience first someday. But yeah, no, I would encourage everybody to be out in a beautiful place in nature and have the right dose of psilocybin, a responsible amount. Yeah, I think it's an absolutely amazing experience. Have you had it yourself? Have you had the experience?
No, Zach, I have not.
That's
But
why
you know
you have
what?
the opinion you have, because you don't know. You're talking about something you don't know about.
Oh yeah, well, you know what, Zach? Maybe you should look into the Esalen Institute and the disinformation agendas going on, and how even Terrence McKenna was a part of that. And you know what? You made a joke on your podcast with Logan that you're KGB, and you know what? There's a lot of connections with that too. So maybe there's
Do you
some
think
truth in
do you think
jokes.
I'm KGB?
No, but you know what? There's always some jokes. Every truth has a factor of a joke in it. So I don't know why you're the one who said that. And yeah, you know what? That's one of the rare podcasts that you've had that isn't found anywhere online. And I don't have a full
Well, it
recording
was on
of
his
it.
channel. It was on his channel. He might have taken it down.
All right. Well, you're the one that had to make the joke about that. So I don't know. You're the one that came out of your mouth, not mine. So I don't know, because the Esalen Institute has a lot of connections with all the disinformation agents, including Joe Rogan. And for you to also be open about psychedelics, I don't know. It makes me question where you really think. Maybe you want people to
Hold on.
just trip
How can
out
you have
and
an
say, "Oh,
opinion? How can
four-base
you have an
ciphers
opinion?
is
Let
the
me ask
answer
you
to
one.
the universe."
How can you have an opinion about psychedelics if you don't have any experience?
Whatever, man. How about you just stop contradicting yourself? You think
So how am I
you
contradicting
made it.
myself?
You make it very clear that you think this world's messed up, yet you think it's fine to bring another human into it. So
Well,
how does
what
that make
did I say
sense?
about that? What did I say about that? How are you going to make the world a better place if good people don't raise good children? That's what I said, right?
So how about you break pattern and make some positive videos instead of saying some
So what kind of
society
video would you
based
like
in
to see me
Italy
make
is
then? What
controlling
kind of video would you
everything?
like to see me make?
Well, how about you stop focusing on some military order from Italy controlling everything? Because you know what, I don't think that's actually the case. I think
What's the
think
case?
it's
What's
more
the case?
realistic that we're in freaking Westworld and that we're all living some kind of story, and that we actually don't really have control over what's going on.
People don't have power to make change in the world.
And if we do have the power, then it's part of our screenplay.
If we don't have power to make change in the world, I'd say that's the most negative thing there ever was. I'd say that's not empowering. I'd say you're now putting out a very negative message. I'm teaching that we have the power to change the world. You know, would you since you've been following me so well and you know all these intricate details that most people wouldn't know, that means you've been paying a lot of attention. Wouldn't you agree that if everybody behaved like I did in the time of Cooties 19, it wouldn't have worked for? Well, I guess so. So who was responsible for Cooties 19? Actually, in your opinion?
Okay, I will give you some slack because it does seem like that order from Italy did control most of COVID. But at the end of the day, everyone is an instrument of God, and nothing is absolute. And there's a lot of good people part of that order that you always like to talk about, and they have their own suffering that they deal with in life. So you're wrong because it's not just that order. It's this.
I
It's
never said it.
this.
Have you ever heard me say it was just that order? Have you ever heard me say that? Or do I normally say there are other factions involved, but the Jesuits are the tip of the spear? Isn't that what I say?
Zach, there's so many factors, and
To the point,
nothing
there's
is
what, how many
absolute.
Roman Catholic orders that are involved in this? We talk about the Jesuits, but we get into the Knights of Malta and a whole lot of other ones. The Knights of Columbus. I mean, there's a lot.
Okay, and I know people from Malta that have their own sufferings in life who could
Sure.
be part of the order. So again, you're
you know
wrong.
Knights of Malta. You know Knights of Malta yourself.
No, Zach, I'm saying we're all here, part of the experience of duality, and all humans are being used, and there's something higher. Could be principalities of wickedness, like the Bible says, but there's some other stuff going on, and your
Here, here,
four-base cipher is
here,
not
I gotta let a
absolute.
few other people come in. If you want to call back later, I will. But I just want to close out with the main point you started with. Now, can we confirm? Was the first Corona Cooties 19 simulation? Was it on the 15th day of the 5th month? Is that correct? Was it May 15th on Mercurialia 2018? Was it called Cladex?
What was that the
2 years to the day of Trump declaring Operation Warp Speed on the same day, 15/5, May 15th, 2020?
what? That's when they did Cladex.
Yeah, Cladex was the same day. I thought you must know that the way you know all these other details.
Well, I think the Event 201 was pretty weird, but I don't remember all the details about Cladex.
Okay. It was May 15th. Do I need to go over all the 56s in the Corona thing with you? Do we need to go over all the 56s again?
Okay, but again, I can give you more slack on the English ordinal and the reduction. I don't know about using the reverse. Why you put so much emphasis on the reverse?
Well, weren't there numerous celebrities getting their cooties jab on TV 70 days from their birthday? Didn't we cover that numerous times?
Okay, but why don't you use Chaldean? Why don't you use Chaldean if you think
I actually do. There are other ciphers. I wrote a book about this, and just again, the first governor lockdown state, Jesuit educated, who said 56% of the world or his state will get cooties in 8 weeks, which is 56 days. You can see his name has the same numbers: 142, 155, 56, just as one of a million examples, really. But again, you started with why are you using these 4-base ciphers? And again, it's because it reveals what's going on. And you also dogged on the sports thing, but you pay attention to the way they rig these sports games. You'll see why they use a handful of ciphers to give you a collection of scores, outcomes, patterns that hit with star players, coaches, team records, day in and day out.
Okay, but I can give you a great decode right now.
Case in point, last night, did the Spurs beat Minnesota last night with 133 points and win the game by 38? Did that happen last night in the NBA?
Zach, I'm not going fully against your
Did they do it on the day
how
leaving 239 days left in the year, the 52nd prime? How many times did Minnesota win a game this year with 110? This is my point. This stuff goes on every single day, and you called in and asked me, why am I using these ciphers? Because they revealed the rig. That's why.
No, but it's not always just with the ciphers. Like, for example, Arsenal, their season went upside down, losing first place in the 33rd game.
By the way, did I make a big point yesterday? Hold on, did I make a big point yesterday about it being the 126th day of the year, the 95th composite? Because does that score say 133 to 95?
Okay, all right, Zach. You know Arsenal, they got upset from their first place position in the 33rd game of the season, and Arsenic's the 33rd element. So I don't need any of the 4-base ciphers to know that the English Premier League is being rigged too.
Well, we know the English Premier League is also rigged.
Okay, but I could do a whole decode using only Chaldean cipher on top of what I just told you.
Well, I'm not saying that you'd be wrong for doing that. They do
but you're bringing absolutes to the table, and which is not good. And people also ultimately don't always win the bets off.
So what absolutes am I bringing to the table?
This 4-base cipher system is so random sometimes, and you make connections out of things that are not actually.
So give me an example. So give me an example of a random connection I make.
Because you bring your decode into 4 possibilities every single time. Why don't you just use one cipher? Use ordinal and reduction and Chaldean.
That's what I did for the first 3 years. For the first 3 years, I was able to decode the news with just those 2 ciphers. You just said what I did for the first 3 years.
All right. I'm not. Listen, Zach, I know the sports.
You know why? You know why I added on the other 2? Because I realized it showed a greater truth in picture. That's why we added on the reverse ciphers after the first 3 years that I was here. You just told me to do what I did for the first 3 years, so I guess you weren't here the whole time.
Anyways, I have people in my life that allow these sports to change their emotions to a drastic degree.
That's why I tell people not to watch the games. Yeah, don't watch the games.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that it's not absolute. I think you need to make it simpler.
Nobody said it was
absolute. I
think
you need to
Here's
make
my advice to you. Don't refer to human beings as avatars. That is pretty demeaning of the human being.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Good for you.
Yeah. You can call back later. Hey, I'm going to let some other people get in.
All right,
Thanks for the questions. All right. What's up, CJ? Don't forget to unmute, CJ.
Can you hear me, man?
Yeah.
Man, I damn near forgot a lot of stuff I want to ask you listening to this dude. Man, why did you let people like that? One question I got, why do you let people, now I know this is your show and it probably gets a lot of views and comments and stuff when you let people like that talk, when you let bots talk, but why do you entertain that?
Well, I feel like he represents the average person. I mean, my sister sounds like him.
Yeah, my daddy sound like that. Yeah, so you just use them to make an example of what a bot sounds like in their thinking, when they really can't see what's going on or they refuse to see it.
Yeah.
Is that what you be doing?
I think so. I mean, yeah. And I addressed all of his points and I didn't think anything he said was true. And then I thought, didn't you think it was pretty weird that he referred to a human being as an avatar?
I mean, yeah, just kind of weirdo, weirdo incel energy.
Yeah.
But I think that we coming into a time where we really can't waste too much time with bots. That's really what the separation is all about. It's going to have to be a separation from idiots, because these type of people, they really just in the way and they hold us back. Okay, now that kind of brings me to what I wanted to ask you about. Did you hear anything about this shooting? I'm in Oklahoma City. You hear anything about this shooting in Edmond, Oklahoma?
Somebody asked me to look it up, and I forgot to do it. It was this past weekend. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it, because I forgot to look into it.
They were saying now, that it was supposedly a gang-related shooting. And mostly when it's a gang-related shooting, you know, me being from the hood and shit, I'm not going to cuss too much, but me being from, you know, the hood, they usually don't say it's a mass shooting. Even when it's a lot of people involved, they'll say it's a drive-by, or they'll say it was a gang-related shooting, but they were saying this was a mass shooting. And at first they was using it, they were saying it was 13 victims. They kept saying it was 13 victims, 13 victims. Then they started saying it was 23 victims. And they didn't want to identify the shooters at first. And then they showed a young black male who was supposed to be the shooter. But a lot of the people who was there they were saying, at least on the internet, that it was also a white male shooter, but they're not identifying the white male shooter. And instead of, and they was in the news when they was talking about it, they kept using the word prevention. How do we prevent something like this from happening? Prevention. And I know that when they use those words, that really means that it's really an agenda that they already probably had, and they were just looking for an excuse to sign in and bring in certain laws to possibly prevent people from having gatherings and prevent groups from coming together on the outside. And so I was thinking, like, man, it was just a lot of weird. It was weird how they was talking about it. And I was like, I wonder if he got anything to say on this. And I was wondering about the gematria on everything, because I know they didn't identify the shooter until the 6th, which was yesterday. And when you look at the comments on Facebook, a lot of white people, they were so happy that it was a black shooter that they really wasn't seeing. They act like they don't really be seeing the agenda behind it all. They be letting that racism affect them to where they just so happy it's a black shooter, but they not seeing that it's a possible deeper agenda behind a lot of these things. And I also wanted to say that, do you think, before I go off into that, did you look at anything? Did you find anything suspicious as far as like in gematria about it from what you see on the screen?
Well, here, let me pull it up here. So it looks like the main keywords here. I don't know. Have they identified a shooter?
Yeah, his name was supposed to be Jalen Davison or something like that.
Okay. Well, we see this stuff happen a lot. You know, a specific deadly killing story, a suspicious death, it was connected with sports teams, right? And the Thunder, obviously, in Oklahoma City, are the top team in the NBA right now. And don't forget, right as the season got underway, Lenny Wilkens died, who'd won the only championship for that franchise back when they were the Sonics. And then, of course, last year was the 79th season, and OKC won the 79th season, as we predicted before the season began, because the Sonics had won their only championship in 79. For people who don't follow the NBA, the Seattle Sonics, the Supersonics, relating to sound, moved to Oklahoma City. They're now the Thunder. But okay. So this shooting happens right as the series is about to start with Oklahoma City and the Lakers. And we got Arcadia Lake shooting. So that stands out. Notice the 66 in Arcadia Lake. Lakers equals 66. LeBron 66. LeBron James 66. We've been a broken record about all the rituals with 66 and LeBron over the years. The 78 is a big NBA Finals number, so keep that in mind. Her name equates to 97 like death. Oklahoma City's on the 97th meridian. 74 is up there. I talk about 74 and killing stories all the time. The 250 could be interesting because this happened right after the Illuminati's 250th birthday. And as we approach the US's 250th birthday, there could be more to this because I haven't looked into this story enough. I see it happened 11 days after Oklahoma City's birthday as well, and that's a big black number, and it looks like it's focused on what the media likes to call black on black crime.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a little start point, and I need to look up the shooter again. You said his name was Jalen what?
I think it's Jalen Davison.
Let me see.
Google it. Google suspect in Edmond shooting. His name should come up.
Jalen.
And my question, I also had let me let you find that.
Jalen Davis. Let's see. So, okay, things that stand out about his name. 118, huge number with death. Death and homicides, 118. Los Angeles, California, we call it the 118 city. Los Angeles, California is 118. Its establishment date's the day leaving 118 days left in the year. It's on the 118th meridian. 37, just like Los Angeles. 179 is the 41st prime. LeBron's 41 this year. You got the 4-seed Lakers versus the 1-seed OKC Thunder in the West. We predicted before the playoffs again it'd be the 4 versus the 1 in the West and the East in tribute to 41-year-old LeBron because you got the 4-seed Cavs who LeBron used to play for versus the 1-seed.
Jalen Ahmad Davis.
Okay. Let me see if I can find his middle name too. Shoot. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing all kinds of just repeat numbers that show up all the time in these related stories. You said Ahmad is the middle name?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can make sure I got the spelling right. Jalen Ahmad Davis. Just trying to find an article so I can copy and paste the exact spelling.
I'm getting to the point, man, where I'm starting to think they're going to start doing stuff like this, but it's going to be 100% AI. It's going to be AI witnesses. It's going to be AI shooters. It's going to be AI, like they're going to create fake profile, Facebook, Instagram profiles. It's not even a real person. That way it looks so real, you know what I mean? But I think a lot of this stuff is going to be AI generated propaganda. But at the same time they do stuff like this, they're going to be stripping people's rights away.
What I personally think is that's what they've been doing for a long time with all these perfect stories.
Yeah,
remember, the AI the government has is way more sophisticated than what we're allowed to use. And the question remains, how long has it really been out there for? It feels like a lot of these stories have been made this way in a long time. You know, the full name equates to 98, like National Basketball Association, also like Chosen One, what's tattooed on LeBron's back, and 55, which is the day the series began with the Lakers and the Thunder. So that's my personal take, just seeing how they always bring the news and the sports together, that this is another ritual for what's going on right now in the playoffs. And I also agree with everything you're saying about, you know, just creating more rules for why people can't be people anymore. And yeah, everything you said, I completely agree with.
And I noticed one thing too, man, ever since we got the Thunder in Oklahoma City, it seems like they take, I got a question. Do you think that they take the money that bots spend on sports and reinvest it into oppressing and enslaving the people even further? So in other words,
that's how I think the whole system works. That's how I think the whole system works. Louis Vuitton, all these designer brands. I mean, think about all these Italian and French brands everybody spends crazy money on when we know the cabal, you know, the Jesuits, they're from France, headquartered in Italy. I feel like this, all the money they suck up from us, they use to control us and do exactly what we see playing out. That's how I think the world works.
Because I see it's way more homeless. I know this is happening everywhere in America, though, but it's like way more homeless people in America now. I mean, in Oklahoma City now. It's more camera surveillance going up. It's like the city is just getting worse and worse for the people, but yet you got this team that's out here, and yet I never hear anything about no Thunder player doing anything for anybody. I just don't even. And we won last year, and I don't see anything that the people in Oklahoma City benefited from other than being happy-go-lucky, you know what I mean, celebrating sports. But it seemed like the city just got way worse as
And just
far as an area.
growing up in Portland where we had the Blazers, I know the Blazers that were always actually in the community, hanging out at Lloyd Center, the mall down by where they played. Kevin Duckworth, Jerome Kersey, Cliff Robinson, guys that you would see out. You'd see them in the store. They were friendly. They'd sign something for you. All dead at a young age.
So the sports players know that thing.
By the way, in light of this shooting in your community on 5/3, the shooting was on 5/3 that we're talking about, you guys. Don't forget what they did to Cliff Robinson the other year. He died at 53 on the day the Lakers closed out the Blazers. That was the year the Lakers went on to win the finals, the year that Kobe died. But he died at 53 on the day the Lakers and Blazers played their 53rd all-time postseason game. And now we're talking about the Lakers coming to town to OKC, and you got this community shooting on 5/3. It's a very similar to what it's the same stuff that goes on all the time. Last year, the World Series began on Jackie Robinson's 53rd death anniversary. The Dodgers go on to win the 53rd World Series for the NL. And don't forget that Jackie died at 53. So when I see this shooting in Oklahoma City on 5/3 with all these numbers encoded, again, that's what I think is going on here.
What made me think about the AI stuff is because at first, usually when something like that happens in the hood, you know, before the news even know anything about it, we be knowing what's going on. We be knowing what really happened. But in this situation, it seemed like at first, didn't nobody know nobody who was there. Nobody, it just wasn't the response that I normally see when we act up. You know what I mean?
Are you look how many they say were injured in the shooting? 23 right before LeBron and with his 23 patches coming onto town. You know, King equals 41 and 23. LeBron's 41 this year in his 23rd season, wearing a 23 patch. I mean, that's what I mean. This is what's going on.
It went from 13 to 23. At first, they kept saying 13, 13, 13, 13. And we know when they say number 13, they're letting you know it's some deception involved.
And not to mention LA is a big 13 city too. So.
Yeah. I have one more thing I was supposed to say, man. Has anybody noticed that the IRS is kind of really cracking down and coming down on people as far as like garnishing checks and stuff like that? I know a few people who all of a sudden they're being attacked because of their taxes.
Imagine how bad it's going to get when every last thing's digital.
Yeah. So they trying to scrape up as much. They got something going on because they're trying to scrape up as much money as they can from the people for whatever. People say it's because of this war, but I really don't even think it's a real war going on. That
it looks like 1984. Where's any proof of anything?
I really don't even think it's a real war going on. It's almost like when they say it's a war going on, what they really mean is it's a war against the quote unquote American people.
Another excuse to take more of your money.
Yeah. Because I tried to fill up I'm a truck driver. I tried to fill up my truck today. I can only get $175. It stopped. The pump stopped on its own.
Just putting a limit on people, huh?
That might be what they're doing, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they need the story to justify the agenda. Hey, Agenda 2030, you guys, they want to lower global emissions, and maybe there really is a reason to do it, but they got to give you these stories for why they're doing these things. They can't tell you.
And you think they're gonna start rationing out food and gas to the people? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, I've been saying for years, when everything's digital, they'll keep track of every last thing you bought. They'll be like, nah, you bought, no more beef for you this month. You met your beef limit. Go buy something else. Go buy some of Bill Gates' tofu burgers.
Man, I think white people, y'all really need to get a little more educated on real history and facts, because as long as they can use other groups to scapegoat what they're doing, and you focused on those other groups, you will allow yourself to be enslaved and oppressed because you're so focused on other groups, but you're not seeing what these people really have in mind, because they really don't give a damn about you either. And I'm gonna just end it on that note. I wanted to say that. And Zach, I think you're doing a good work, man. Man, I don't know, man. Stop entertaining them bots, man.
We got to address them, though. They're the majority. I mean, the reason we're not winning is because
Yeah.
90% of the populace is more like that last caller.
Man, that dude was slow. Sometimes they be just messing with you, Zach.
Well, that too, but didn't you? He sounded more like a normal person than you did, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish
Okay, man. Well, keep up.
if you were the norm, we'd be
Go
winning.
ahead. I mean, if it was more people like me, it'd be something that really would be done, because
Right.
intelligence and righteousness is really what they fear. They keep us distracted with a whole bunch of, and then they come out with these new apps. Everybody want to subscribe to this app, subscribe to that. Man, I'm cool on all that. And what do you think about AI? Do you think, you see how they're trying to make like AI do everything for you? Do you think like that's
there was
a CIA?
There was a local ad to go clean so the AI robot can learn how to clean. I just thought, God, everybody's signing up for that. Don't you realize you're eventually going to not have a cleaning job?
Every time you put something in AI, I think it goes straight to the FBI and the CIA.
It probably does. Yeah.
Like they got it now where AI can design you a flyer. Like that flyer that looked like it was made in Oklahoma City, it looked like it was made by AI. I noticed a lot of people start having these same looking graphic design style flyers. And I was just on the phone with my cousin the other day, and he was like, yeah, man, AI can do that for you, man. If you need this idea, because I'm a graphic designer myself, he was like, man, you can just tell AI, put it in AI, tell them what you want, and send them a picture, and they'll do it all for you. I was like, wow. But I wonder whose database and why. You know what I mean? Why do they want to make it to where, everything we do, we dependent on AI to do it for us? I know it dumbs us down and makes us lazy, but it's also an agenda behind.
Of course. Smartphones and dumber people.
Man. All right, Zach, man, let me get back to work, bro.
All right, CJ. Good hearing from you. You have a good day, man. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
All right, we got Eric up next, and then we got Gematria32. And if you guys want to join, the link should be pinned. What's up, Eric?
Hey, Zach. Thanks for all the work you do. Just two comments. One, you said you wanted to increase, your mark out there. Your Kentucky Derby, okay? I live here in Louisville, and so I was really looking forward to the Kentucky Derby and all your breakdowns. Man, that was like 100 pages, my man.
Well, did you watch the stream?
I mean, I try to do everything that I can. I gave you $20 plus the $4.99, so it's like $25, and it's like, I just can't always be available, but it is just a tremendous amount of information that you like kick out about any game, not just a Kentucky Derby, but like any game. And it's like you read it and you read it and you read it, and you're like, 201 here works that way, then it works this way, and it works that way, and you're like, well,
all right. So hold on. If you went through each of those write-ups for each horse, now the one that had the fourth longest write-up was the winning horse. And in the stream, I did emphasize that if a long shot was going to win the race, it was probably that one. And because of all the golden stuff. So, I mean, if you just scanned it that way on a satellite, you probably definitely would have put something down on golden. Now, I hear what you're saying. You're probably saying for people who are short on time, can't you just put like a quick note at the top? These are my top 5 horses. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Or like the game tonight. Go, hey, here's Zach's picks. If you want to know more information about it, here's all the information. Like, I'm in real estate.
Fair.
So
fair. And
people call and they go, hey,
just
how much is my house?
This year, listen, I'm super overwhelmed with doing everything and keeping up with everything. I almost forgot about the Kentucky Derby. I realized on Thursday night that, oh my God, the Kentucky Derby's in 2 days. I didn't put as much time into it as I normally do. But in the future, I will do that. Right at the top, just a short cliff notes of here's what makes
and that's fine. And that's fine. Yeah, I was just like, for everything that you do, can you have like the cliff notes up there for like the hockey games, the NBA, the major league games? And it's like, because I just don't have time to just go through all that stuff.
Well, remember, a quick way to scan is just what looks lopsided. That's a quick way to scan. Just like if you scan the horse notes real quick, you'd say, well, this horse has a long write-up. So does this one. So does this one. So, okay, these 4 horses have long write-ups. Almost everything else, a lot didn't even have any additional information. I didn't really have anything to say about it.
Then the second thing I was going to say was that I know Pat Day. I go to his barbecues. I swim in the pool. This guy doesn't know anything about 201 rituals or any of these numbers.
Pat Day?
So
Help me out.
like
Who's Pat Day?
Patrick Day.
Who
Well,
is
he
that?
prefers Patrick, but Pat Day's the most winning jockey of all time.
He doesn't race at the Kentucky Derby, though. Not the main
He
event.
already won it. He won the Kentucky Derby with little ET.
A long time ago.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't really have access to Kentucky Derby, jockey winners, but I do him. And I'm just saying he doesn't know anything about this stuff. So it's like I don't know how they do it, but
could he
doesn't
be?
know
They
anything
don't have to
about
know
it.
about all this. They don't have to know about all this, do they? They could just be like, "Hey, you're not to win the race today. Make sure you
Yeah,
don't win the."
and yeah, they don't do that.
The race is told not to win the race, except for the guy who's supposed to win the race. It couldn't be as simple as that. Make sure you don't win the race today. Make sure you don't.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing that, but I don't think he's part of that.
Listen, have you ridden a horse before? Is there a way to make the horse run faster and faster by keep digging your heels in, et cetera, when these horses are trained? Of course there is. I've ridden horses before.
Yes, there is.
And naturally, there's also a way to slow down the horse and keep it from reaching its top pace. Look at what happened
Yes,
with the horse that won Golden Tempo, which, by the way, if you were on my Patreon and you listen to the stream, which is probably a good thing to do if you don't have that much time, again, I was emphatic about that horse. I said, the long shots don't normally win at the Derby, but if there's going to be a long shot winner, this Golden Tempo horse, you got to have something on that horse. That's the one that can turn a small bill into the big bills today. And it did. And it had a good narrative. And it's been a year of gold rituals. I mean, and have you not heard me as a broken record saying all this gold stuff going on in the time of Trump being 79 when gold's the 79th element on the periodic table? So just knowing that already, you probably should have had a hunch. But your criticism is fair, and I will make sure there's
I'm not criticizing. I'm just trying to add to you. Like, hey, if it's easy, I can just like go to my website and like go to the Patreon, go there and go, hey, here's Zach picks tonight. Oh, great, write them down. Okay, then I can go and make my bets instead of having to read for like 35, 40 minutes and try to figure out what
you have to learn how to. You have to. Listen, here's how you should read the notes for a short time. Scan and go, whoa, this game looks super lopsided. This game looks super lopsided. You could do that in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bud, keep it up. Thank you for your work.
All right. You're welcome. And hey, thanks for supporting the Patreon. I appreciate it.
You got it, bud.
All right. And I'm always open to fair criticism. That was totally fair criticism. But yeah, there's also a way to do things efficiently. And if you are paying attention day after day, you should dial in on like, oh, there's that number on that pattern I keep winning on. And for all you guys, I'm guessing he's on the $11 tier. Thank you very much. $9 more a month would have had that stream and heard the emphasis on Golden Tempo, a long shot that you had to play. All right, what's up, Gematria32?
Yeah, you could go through your notes faster than going through the sports section in the newspaper.
I think he's trying to go through it with detail, which I get. If you go through it for detail, it's going to take a long time.
And if you're looking for like what Zach, you out of your mind, because you got to make, at the end of the day, you got to make your own decision. You understand? The information's there. Great information is there.
And here's what I want to say too. I am a paranoid.
So
5 years ago, I used to put my top 5 NFL plays, and I'd go 4 out of 5 every single week, and my number 1 play would fail every single time I did it, and that didn't seem right to me. It felt like we were being messed with as a community, so I said, I'm not doing this anymore. How does the number 1 pick fail every week? This is impossible.
Yeah, the notes are great. If you reading comprehension, take 10, 20 minutes out your day, read it, bang, it's there. I mean, wow. But real quick, what the caller before him was saying, he was like in Chicago, and bro, the mayor, what is the mayor or the governor of Chicago is Ron Emanuel. Like, let's be serious,
Say that again about Rahm Emanuel. He's the top guy.
Yeah, in Chicago. Him and the other guy, Prickster. Like, are we serious? You know?
Are you saying like they're the puppets on the world stage?
Yeah, in Chicago. And then like, these athletes like Michael Jordan, like he said, I think he quoted like Republicans buy sneakers too, right? Remember or something like
Yeah,
that?
that's true. Speaking of Rahm Emanuel, it looks like that guy hasn't slept in 30 years.
His brother runs Hollywood. These people been in the
Doesn't his
game for
brother on the UFC?
he's running the world. He's president or something. They run the World Cup and everything. It's amazing, bro, how all these people are tied in and just it's crazy. And then at that too, right? Everybody thinks it's okay to walk around paying 28% interest rate on a credit card. Like when are you gonna be up in arms? When it's 50%? You know? Like it's amazing. It's baffling. I don't even argue with people like that. You understand?
Yeah. If you guys got credit card balance, you better pay those things down before you do anything.
No, but how do people think it's acceptable to pay 28% rate on your credit
I can't do
card?
math. Think about it. How do we go through 13 years of slave school and we don't get sat down into class and explain these things? Listen, you live in a world where there's financial predators, and these are the banks that rule over you, and this is what they're going to do to you if you're not careful. You're going to end up like everybody else in major debt and not realizing how bad it gets real fast. But they don't do that because they're raising useful idiots. You guys, that's what you don't understand about our slave school system. They want you to be slaves to these financial institutions, and that's why you don't learn anything that you need to learn.
Jack, I gotta say it one more time. 28%, 23%, anything over 12%, you're bugging. But people are the average person
8% interest is a ton of interest. I mean, look at what 8% does on a car note or a mortgage. You end up paying way more. You end up paying double over the life of the loan what it actually costs.
So imagine people you're on the poverty. You're basically poor on the poverty rate if you're paying 28% on your credit card. That's like an EBT card at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for real, you get it, but a lot of people won't get it. You know, and also like in Ohio, that Swami, however you say his name, and he's the front runner for the governor in Ohio. This shit is a joke. What's his name?
Swami, right? Yeah.
Are we serious? Like, this shit is a joke, man. And then, did you see my comment that I left on 10-4 you had? And they was like, "Oh, we had a Gematria guy on before." I posted it on my page, the comment that he left.
Let me look it up.
I was like, "Is he trolling me for real?"
Ever since he got that WB special, he hasn't had me on.
Yeah, right. I'm like, because he's talking about Freemasonry and Kabbalah. I'm like, why? It's overdue, long overdue, right?
I see. All right. So yeah, he replied, "We've had a Gematria guy one. Great episode."
What the fuck?
He also had Gary the Numbers Goon on there since he had me on, which was a mistake. You don't want to associate with Gary the Numbers Goon.
Yeah, but you could break down the war, Charlie Kirk, everything, all this bullshit that's been going on. You know, like this is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you written 2 books. Like, I mean, you're certified. So.
Well, we all know what happened when I went on there. He said it was maybe the greatest episode ever. He said if there was a Mount Rushmore of truthers, you might be the first face on there. But now he acts like we don't exist. So, and isn't that like everybody? We're ghosted by everybody.
True, but yeah, man, reading comprehension. If you reading comprehension is important. Like 45 minutes to go through your notes. You bugging. You crazy.
Yeah, I'd encourage him to make some time to listen to the live streams. Yeah, it's really about a quick scan. I'm putting all the information in, and sometimes I think I should just put in less information because a lot of it I'm not even going to use personally, but I'm just trying to give everybody the full picture. And I'm always hoping somebody's going to observe something that I'm overlooking because, I want people to learn too. And a lot of people do learn. And that's why a lot of people also do the same thing as me now. And
no, but you heard what he said. You heard what he said. He just wants to look for the notes for what you like. But if you listen to you're right. If you do listen to the stream, you do go through what you like, and then you know what I'm saying. But if you're reading it, it's there too, because anything that's emboldened or like you said, what has more, like, you know, you gotta weigh the
Yeah,
scales.
there'll be
What has
things that
more
have
that
10 things on
that
one side and
you
maybe
could
0 on
tell.
the other,
You
or
could,
1 thing on the other.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you put your note on the note on the bottom, and it says exactly what you think. You know, so it's like, what are you talking about? Like, literally, you write note, and then you write exactly what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
my God. And then, oh my God, that other guy too, man. That other guy you have while he's bugging, talking about it's the end of the world, that Jesus is coming back and demons are coming. Oh my God. I'm gonna leave it there.
He reminded me of my
I'm gonna leave
sister.
it there. I'm gonna leave it there.
Big
I'm gonna leave
opinion
it
about magic
there.
mushrooms too, and has never had them in her life, and she could really benefit from them.
Yo, not him. I'm talking about the other, anyway, whatever. But you're a legend. Thank you, Zach. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right,
Everything.
appreciate it, man. We got Mr. Or wait, hold on. My eyes are getting bad. I think it's me tell, or is it my tell? But what's
Hello?
up? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, Zach? How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just
Okay.
skateboarding a little bit.
I heard that. I heard those wheels. All right.
Yeah, but like I don't like to cause confrontation to people I barely know, but from the information I've gathered, it sounds like you need to apologize to a bunch of people that you lied about and that you frauded.
Such as?
Like Badger.
Oh boy. So what? So you're talking about two people who go online and lie about me every single day. So tell me, what did I lie about them?
There's a bunch of other people too.
So tell me, let's air it out. What did I lie about with those two?
Much better, thank you. Yep. What did you what?
What did I lie about with those two? Please tell me. You're talking about two guys who file reports at the Better Business Bureau, false reports almost on a weekly basis that I have to constantly respond to in the mail. People who sabotaged a small coffee company.
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm just telling you the things they do. They're online and employed to harass me every day. They call my wife at work and
they're not employed. They don't get paid. They don't. None of those people that you call trolls are getting paid at all.
They just spend all day, every day trolling and harassing?
No, they work real jobs, and then on their free time, they unfortunately have to do.
On the side of the highway, I saw that, and the other one
You
works
said
at a
what?
gas station. Okay.
No, that person was not on the side of a highway. They're on a construction site. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Like, what? Hey, Zachary, where did you learn to do this job, Zach? Where
Which
did you
job?
learn?
Which job?
Where did you learn to do this job?
Learn to do presenting the information?
Yeah.
Research?
You said you learned your job from research? Okay. Tell me more about that.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much a 13-year story going on online. I mean, I've been sharing
Hey,
all
so that one caller that said, okay, what have you done, right? He said, what happened in those 13 years? And you said, well, we prevented a lot of people from getting the clot shot, right? Is that what you said, right?
I'd say that's one accomplishment, sure.
Hey, what does your wife do? What does your so-called wife do? Does she
works at a clinic.
sign off?
At a clinic. So
does she sign off on
She actually advises people not to get a lot of medication. She's a world-class pharmacist, to be fair. She comes in and tells people, you don't need to be taking this, and if you did this instead, she gives people a lot of constructive criticism.
Okay.
And in fact, when people come in looking for those things, she often suggests other things they could do instead. So world-class at her job. Because she works at a clinic, the doctors and nurses do the thing that your two buddies. How are you friends with two people that one lives in San Francisco and the other lives in Florida? How do you know these two?
I appreciate that. I know them through online.
Okay.
Hey, Zach, so you said you learned this would you say you learned this through like Manly P. Hall's book of Teaching for All Ages? Would you say that?
Well, it's where I got the first idea, the excerpt from the book about
the first idea.
Numbers and words. Yeah.
Okay, I got you on that. I got you. So what did you kind of like read? Like, do you know that Manly P. Hall never said that Gematria was 4 English ciphers? Did you know
Well,
that?
he reveals 2 in the book, and then if you read later on, he talks about doing things in revealed. So the 4 base ciphers, if you
revealed
read
2 of them.
the book.
Did
The other
he
year,
reveal that those
hold on.
2 are
The
English?
other year we had the
Did he
girl on
reveal
here
that
that
those
was
2
mad that I
ciphers
didn't
were
leave Sweet
English?
Lady for her,
Did he
showing how
reveal that
all those
those
things
2
are in the book,
ciphers were
and saying
in
that I should have
English?
been on this sooner. Remember, she became a troll, and she was saying I should have seen the report.
Those 2 ciphers, he said, well, those were actually in Hebrew that he was saying, and he had said that it would be speculative if it was in English. Those 2 ciphers that he said
he leaves it on
were
the
in
reader.
Hebrew.
All right. Anyway, so you're gonna come on. All right. He leaves it on the reader to put the information to the test and see if there's anything there, which I've covered a million times, which is exactly what I did. And very clearly, there's something there. Can you imagine going on like this every day and acting like this stuff's an accident? Here's Ken Griffin connected to Michael Jordan losing the Charlotte Hornets on the day leaving 238 days left in the year. Here's another proof. Michael Jordan, 238. Okay. And we won't even talk about the 59 and 76 and how that's all encoded over Black history in a million different ways, like slave and Negro and blues, and how many times he's taken advantage of this with Rig Bulls games. And then Michael Jordan, again, 113, like the National Basketball Association, like a gazillion rituals with this as well. Can you imagine sitting here in 2026 acting like, again, he's calling in and they are 2 paid for trolls because all they do is this every day, all day, just troll and harass and bring up the same stupid talking points. Where's any proof of the 4 base ciphers? And what is demonstrated every single day? 13 straight years of proof every single day. Did we miss the beginning of the stream where we went over today's news? Here, do we need to go over it again? Iran's new Port Authority has implemented its first rules. The name of the authority, Persian Gulf Strait Authority, on the 127th day of the year. Is this not clear? And when I started in 2013, I did almost everything in this one cipher. And almost every story with just this one cipher, you could see how the news was coded. And this is the one cipher that Manly P. Hall actually gives the cipher for in his book. The alphabetic order with numerology applied. The other ones are explained through the words if you just read the book. And like I said, the girl the other year that wanted me to leave Sweet Lady for her, and I said, that's flattering, but I'm happy with Sweet Lady. Then, she went on a tirade and she tried to expose me for saying, how come Zach didn't share this part of the book where he should have figured all this stuff out sooner? Okay. So which way does the troll pack want it? Again, today, all over the news. Here, most simple cipher. All you guys who want it in one cipher, again, here we are on the 58 date numerology for another 58, as I've explained this for going on in the better part of a decade. On the 127th day of the year, we're learning about Judge Kenneth Carras. Okay. I mean, every day, you guys, it's self-explanatory to act like, well, where's the proof? I mean, either you're stupid or you're just trolling and you don't have any other talking points. Let's go out to DJ Alonzo Love, and then we'll go out to Sirius. DJ Alonzo Love, you got to unmute.
Yo, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Is this like an astrology channel? I just got the link from one of my pals.
It's more of a numerology channel, but occasionally we'll touch on astrology too.
Is there any correlation between the two? Astrology and numerology?
Absolutely. For people who are new here who have the same question, moon landing. What can you tell me about the moon landing in 1969 in light of the time it happened in terms of astrology?
Well, I know that the president called to the moon on a wired phone.
Okay. Do you know what sign we were in when the moon landing happened?
I do not.
We were in Cancer. And do you know what planetary body rules Cancer?
My mom, because I'm a Cancer. And I don't know if
there's a joke, but it's the moon. The moon rules Cancer.
Oh, okay.
And do you know what Cancer's astrological symbol looks like?
Crab.
And it often is depicted as 69 on its side, right? Like it happened in 69.
My favorite number.
There you go. Okay. And just for the record, it happened on the 201st day of the year, and the man to walk on the moon, his name equals 201. And you could go on and on and on. It's a big number with the Jesuit order who runs the whole show.
Mean?
Well, it's the number of the Jesuits, just like how the latest moon mission was perfectly synced with their leader, as we covered, and you can go back and watch those videos. But you can see the Jesuit order equals 69 and 201, but it's really part of a long list. If you saw the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting hoax, the gematria of White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting is 201. It happened 201 days from the leader of the Jesuit order's birthday. Just another day in the life of understanding this knowledge and seeing how the world stage is rigged.
Very interesting points there. Does the distance from the moon to the earth matter in numerology?
It does. It does. I'm gonna touch on that, but just to show you a little bit more. Cancer, just for the record, equals 44, like space, like Armstrong, since our greatest space accomplishment that really, you know, set the tide for NASA happened in the time of Cancer. Cancer, space, Armstrong, all 44. You might not know, but Cancer is the 4th astrological sign. And ask me again, what did you just ask me?
The distance from the earth to the moon.
So, are you aware that the mathematical estimate, are you aware of the relationship with the number 108 and the sun, the earth, and the moon? Is this something you're aware of?
No, what is that?
Well, they say the diameter of the sun is 108 earths, and they say that from the earth to the sun is the diameter of the sun 108 times, and they say the diameter of the moon, that to the earth, it's 108 moons, and they say it's this this symmetry. Well, they say it's that symmetry that allows for perfect eclipses to happen because of the ratios. But this practice of coding numbers into words means geometry and language. And the word geometry equates to 108 forwards and backwards. And essentially, this language was established in association with the calendar at the end of the 16th century by the Jesuits. And of course, the Jesuit logo is the sun. And if you're not aware, in the
what
16th
do the
century,
Jesuits have to do with this?
the Jesuits gave us the language and the calendar, and they are, I'm sure you've heard of the phrase New World Order Illuminati. The Illuminati was founded by a Jesuit, Adam Weishaupt.
I know about the New World Order in the WWF, man.
Okay. Well, you should stick around. Tell your buddy thanks for recommending the channel. Again, we're educating about what the New World Order, the real one, not to mention that there is some important things about that New World Order in wrestling too. I'm sure you've seen Hulk Hogan, who was part of that, and Randy Savage give their predictive programming for
Hell yeah, brother.
There you go. And hey, by the way, go back to his death last summer. It was a massive 201 ritual. So R.I.P. Hulk Hogan.
Wow.
Yeah. But hey, appreciate it, DJ Alonzo.
This is DJ Alonzo Love signing out. Buy my dude wipes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was just trolling, but hey, you never know. You might even be able to convert a troll. What's up, Sirius?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Ah, great. Cool. It's great to be able to talk with you. I just started watching your channel maybe 3 months ago. So I think I got your link from the Gnostic Academy or something like that. And yeah, I was just curious as to well, first I wanted to say thank you. It's so refreshing to see someone who is very critical of religion and the divide that is ultimately creating amongst all of us. I feel like most people just completely gloss over that, and they're so entrenched and ingrained into that sort of mentality. So it's very refreshing to hear that. But I was curious, actually, about a lot of things, and I'm just here to learn your perspective on this whole flat Earth thing from a gematria perspective, which I assume is your perspective, but I don't actually know. So
I don't apply that to the flat Earth. What I do apply to that is how Google made that topic super viral in 2015, where somebody who'd been awake since 2001, really when 9/11 happened, I saw this tremendous growth, maybe from 2010 to 2015, and just consciousness and people talking about things. And all of a sudden, I'd be at a party and people would be asking me questions that I couldn't believe. I was like, that's the kind of stuff I used to ask people. And now I don't want to bring it up because normally I get the crazy look. So I was like, something's going on in the world. People are starting to wake up to things. And then 2015, flat Earth hits, and it's a religion, flat Earth, truly. Flat Earth is a religion, and it mostly appeals to the religious. And it became super divisive. And hold on, if you want to share your thoughts, I have to get the door real quick. I will be right back.
Sure. Take your time.
And Phil, please do talk for me while I'm gone, so that they're not. You're new here. Thanks for coming on. Please share some information. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't have too much information other than, yeah, it seems like we're just in a controlled environment from my perspective. I would say that I woke up partially in 2001 for sure when 9/11 happened. Yeah, towers just collapsing. It just didn't make any sense. I was in college at the time, actually. And yeah, from there, I was always branded the conspiracy theorist. But I just wore it anyway because I would rather think freely, or somewhat freely from my perspective, and keep it moving that way. But yeah, I mean, the whole corona thing definitely was a huge wake up, though I knew, at least for me, that vaccines are no good. I mean, if people want to take them, that's their business. I'm a live and let live sort of guy. But yeah, I know that can also be dangerous, for people, especially during that time. Yeah, it was nuts, nuts, nuts. I was actually, I'm originally from the States, but I'm abroad now, and I was abroad back then. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this story, but might as well, I guess. I was in Deutschland in Germany, and it was the worst. It was absolute horrible there. I mean, you talk about Nazi Germany. It was Nazi Germany then. In 2001, I remember they had like this vaccination bus. They had them in several cities, just going around, just juicing people up. It was absolutely madness. Absolutely madness. I mean, you had to wear the mask. I got an exemption, so that I didn't have to, but it was just nuts, man. I mean, the police would harass you, people would harass you if you didn't have a mask on. It's just absolutely crazy. And anyway, that really stuck with me, and that's continued my journey to figure out, like, what the heck is going on here, in this sort of system that we're in. I don't know. To me, it seems like a prison, for sure. In some ways, I guess that, the glass is half empty, it's half full, but we all have to drink the water. um, so yeah, Zach, are you there? I'm
I'm
just
back.
rambling.
I'm back. So you were asking me about my stance on flat Earth. I didn't hear anything you just said because I was outside. By the way, Desmond,
Yeah, I
don't
was
get
just going.
interrupted anymore. But did you
I was
share
just
anything about
going.
your thoughts on flat Earth?
I didn't yet. I was just going on about just my whole, I guess, journey of waking up. I've always thought independently. I grew up in the Midwest, and back then, which is quite a while ago, it was very segregated, unfortunately. And so I always tried to figure out why is there this divide? And I guess that just kind of expanded my horizons, so to speak, to figure out, like, why are people hating each other, that sort of thing. And it kind of culminated when 9/11 happened. I was in college. I was actually at the U of A at that time, working, and also going to school. Go
Wait,
ahead.
you said you're in the Midwest. What school did you go to?
In Arizona. Well, I was in the
I was
Midwest.
wondering if that's what U of A you're. So I'm a Sun Devil. If you didn't know, I went to Arizona State.
Oh, right. Yeah, ASU, bear down, right? Well, that's U of A's slogan, but I'm not sure what ASU's slogan is. But yeah, I was in Tucson, and when that all happened, and I was just like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Of course, being aware of the government spying on us with Carnivore and Prism and that sort of thing, and I'm a computer geek, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I told everyone I kind of partially woke up. I was awake then, but I would say the big awakening was 2020, that sort of thing. And
Cooties.
yeah, hooties, yeah. Exactly. And I was abroad at the time. I've been abroad for over 10 years, and I was in Germany at the time, and it was just horrible. It was Nazi Germany back then. Sorry to bore your guests about that. And it was awful. You had to wear the mask. You had to have like they call it a Befreiung in Deutsch, which is like an exemption, because everything is by papers, everything is by the rule. And I mean, people were harassing you if you didn't have the mask on. Like, literally everyone had a mask on. And I would put the mask down. They would tell you to put it up. I mean, people laid hands on me because I wouldn't wear the mask. This was before I had the befreiung or the exemption. Sorry.
I talked
um,
about going to Costco without a mask in a live stream, and it was a great live stream. I wish my channel had been taken down. I had one of the
oh,
employees, about the fourth or fifth employee, come up and try to get me to put the mask on. He literally chest butted me, and I said, "Whoa, what about your 6 feet rule, buddy?" He's like, "You really need to get that mask on." I was like, "Listen, when I signed up for a Costco membership, it didn't say anything about wearing a slave muzzle."
exactly.
That was one of my favorite days of my life. What was funny is I got a letter in the mail from Costco 2 days later that my membership had been revoked. I said, "Look at that. See, this is why we should all stop wearing our masks, because Costco will go out of business." And people didn't realize how
Exactly.
all these
Exactly.
companies out of Seattle were setting the standard. Costco's out of Seattle, for people who don't know. Kirkland, that brand, is the Seattle suburb. But
Okay. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
Seattle took over the world, man, during Cooney's. People didn't even recognize it. Costco was the first store to implement all the rules and standing in line like a bunch of idiots. And
Hmm.
yeah, I still remember the last guy who finally messed with me came up, and just like so many people, because they were just wearing the same mask every day and they didn't wash their mask. You saw this all the
Oh my
time.
gosh. Yeah.
And this guy came up to me to yell at me with his mask. And I said, "Have you looked at your mask? It literally looks like you took a shit out of your mouth and you didn't wash it for the last 3 months." And he just marched away. He just marched away. And I think he knew it was true, because it was sick. He had this big brown spot on his light blue mask. Disgusting. God, I mean, just,
I
God.
mean, I remember the first day that they implemented it. I was in the mall, and the security guard comes up to me, and he was like saying in Deutsch, like, "You need to have a mask on." And he pulls one out of his pocket. And I look at my wife, and I'm like, "I'm not wearing this." Like, he just pulled this out of his pocket. Of course, to me, it's a whole sham anyway. Everything, all that is a sham. To put something foreign in your body to alter us. That's what I think anyway. And it was just nuts. It was absolutely nuts. I'll tell you a quick story. I don't want to take up your time, so to speak. But yeah, there's this place called Kaufland that's in Deutschland. It's kind of like a Sam's sort of. It's a big warehousey type place, but it's a regular grocery store. And so they had this rule where you had to get a cart in order to go inside, and they had two checkpoints. So they had the first security guard, who's a foreigner, right, an Auslander. Not that that really matters, but it's kind of like the foreigners are the enforcers in Germany
Sure.
in some respects. And then yeah, then they had a second line or a second like guard there, to make sure that you had your mask on and you had your cart. Well, I was just going in to get juice, right? Like just 2 bottles of juice. That's it. So I go and I didn't have any change to get a cart. So I go up to the front counter and I ask the woman in German for a token, some change. And she didn't have any. So I said, "You know what? This is ridiculous. I'm just going to go inside." So I go inside. The guard was talking to someone else. And then I just, hurry right along. And then suddenly he grabs me. And then I said, "You get your effing hands off me," in English, because at this point, I'm going to be the loud American, right?
Sure.
And yeah, then he pushes me, I push him out of my way, and then I go and get the juice. And as I'm walking through the store, they're saying some stuff in German, like really fast over the intercom. It's like quiet in the store at the time, And so I go to the line, and some people let me go ahead of them because I only have one thing. It's typical in Germany. And I put the juice down, and the guy comes up, he points at me, and he tells the lady, "Don't check him out. He doesn't have a cart."
Oh,
And so so this is the funny part. Sorry, I'm really long-winded.
no, I love it. But
Um,
I have to remember, I had a,
Go ahead, go ahead.
finish this story, and then I got to finish another one. That I had to
Yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, long story short, like a guy in line, he gives me a euro coin, because he sees they're giving me a hard time. And then the manager comes out and he spoke English because my Deutsch wasn't so good then. And he's like, "Look, the guy shouldn't have put his hands on you," because the guy, he pushed me and I pushed him back. And I was like, "Yeah, he shouldn't have put his hands on me." And I'm selling wolf tickets over to him. And he's selling wolf tickets to me. And the manager's like, "Well, look, here, I'll give you a coin. You can go all the way back outside and get a cart, come back in and check out." I'm like, "Only in Germany would this happen." Like, only in Germany, because it's a rule. Anyway, I know it's probably boring for your listeners, but
No, they're enjoying it. I see a lot of people saying, "Great caller, great voice." You do have a good voice.
oh wow, thank you. As do you.
Now, here, I'll tell you a time that I ended up shoplifting, but I did it right in front of the store's face. I was at a Kroger store in the Portland area, which is actually QFC,
Okay.
Kroger, the biggest food chain. And I went to pay without a mask in Portland. And they said, we will not let you check out until you put a mask on. And I said, well, I'm not going to put a mask on. And I'm really hungry right now and thirsty because I've been outside. So I'm going to take this sandwich and water if you don't allow me to pay for it. And they kept saying, you cannot check out. I said, well, then I'm walking out of the store with the water and the food because of your ridiculous policy. And I said, I'll come back in here again and I'll pay next time if you guys come to your senses. But I'm taking this right now because I'm thirsty and hungry. And I just walked out of the store and nobody came after me. And I thought, you know what? That's the consequences of them being stupid. I'm trying to pay for the food and water. And I'm telling you, I'm taking it because I'm hungry and thirsty right now. And that's exactly how that went down. And I didn't feel bad about it at all. These are their stupid policies that are
Exactly. Exactly.
And Corona was coined as seasonal flu in 1968. Why are we doing this over the seasonal flu?
It's the common cold and flu, right? That's what it is, you know. But people were freaking out about it. And yeah, I mean, I have so many stories about that time. And it was kind of a dark time. I mean, literally in the city that I was living in, like you had to have a mask on outside. Like this is how ridiculous it was. I remember I was running and some guy in a bike, okay, it was early in the morning. I'm running outside. Some guy in a bike comes by and says, maske, meaning like you don't have your mask on.
Right.
And I'm thinking like, dude, I'm running. Like, how am I going to run with a mask on? And he has a mask on and he's biking. I mean, it's just like, it's insane. Completely just ridiculous. Just no thought behind it. I'm in IT.
The dumbest of the people in our society. All the people driving around in their car by themselves with their mask on.
Yeah.
What is going on in these people's minds?
And you know, the sad thing is like if you didn't have, you know, your impfung, what they call it, your injection, like you couldn't eat out. Like you were not allowed to eat. I didn't eat out for a year and a half or so, you know, because of that. And essentially, like I was gonna say, oh yeah, so I was my work at the time, I was working in malls, right? So I had to have a mask on for a period of time, but then I got the Befreiung, which I didn't have to wear the mask. And then people were looking at me like I'm crazy, you know? In fact, some older lady came up to me and she was like, Maske. And I'm like, I told her in German, like, I have a Maske Befreiung. I have the piece of paper. And when I walked up to her, she cowered like, oh. And I'm thinking like, okay, this woman probably has, you know, she's probably 3 deep injections in her and she's still afraid of me.
Exactly. That's what I'd say, didn't you get shot? You should be immune from me. Just, you guys don't make any sense. Shut up. Worry about yourselves.
She has the FFP mask on, you know, it's just like, and she's worried about me. I'm like, this is insane. Like, I don't know. It's just
serious. I have to end this stream in 25 minutes. About 5 people in the back. I want to give other people a shot, but please do call back. And I didn't answer your question about flat Earth. Here's what I was telling Bill in 2015. It doesn't matter what the shape of the Earth is. If we don't stop the agendas going on Earth, we're all cooked.
Agreed.
And personally, I don't think the Earth is flat. I just think it's a psyop meant to divide us. That's what I personally think. And people get mad at me all the time. Look at all the people that hate me who made videos. They hate me. They mostly hate me because I will not agree that the Earth is flat.
That's crazy. It's like, you know, we're all trying to just figure things out, and you know, it's. You know, I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I lean towards that it probably is, but I don't know for sure. You know, I just kind of see it as if it were, which I don't know for sure. You know, maybe there's a way out of this part of the Earth if such a thing exists. That's all I'm saying, because as I was saying to your callers, and I'll leave it at that, it seems like we're in a controlled environment. You know, we just grow up in the system and we take whatever the system tells us and we run with it.
That is true.
That's our culture. That's what we do.
And no one owns anything.
We own nothing here, but something owns something here. You know, like there's all these lands, but we don't really own them. I mean, we can get a piece of paper that says we own them, but if we don't pay our taxes, we don't own them, right? So I don't know. It's just an interesting thought.
We don't really own anything. If you don't pay your taxes, they'll come take it from you. So
exactly. So thank you very much. I will try to call in again. It's very late here, but thank you very much. And sorry if I was, you know, long-winded.
Call back, serious. A lot of people really enjoyed your call. All right, man. You have a great
right
night.
on. I will for sure. All right, you too.
Right. Yeah, take care. All right, we got Emmanuel, GAD. Actually, you know what? GAD was here first. He dropped out and came back. Must have been a glitch. So I'm going to let GAD go first, and then Emmanuel. And then if we still have time, somebody else called back in already too. So GAD, then Emmanuel. And I have to be done in 20 minutes sharp because I have a new babysitter today. It's a trial, and I have to be there on time. So luckily, it's right across the street. What's up, GAD?
What's good, Zach? How are you doing?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah. So I've been listening for about a good hour and a half, and whatnot. So to answer the title,
Something's a little bit off about your audio today. It's kind of going in and out.
Oh, really? Okay, one second. Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. And please, thank you. Nobody's really answered the title, so let's please.
Yeah. No. So yeah, with the title, I mean, are you the only truth teller? I'm not gonna say that, but as far as like who has put out the most pertinent information, I would say, based off of my encounters on YouTube and various other platforms, you would be the most potent of all of them, because this is especially with this 201 numerological aspect of the Jesuits and whatnot, and of course the order of the Vatican, the order of the Rosicrucians and whatnot. Not to say that I haven't didn't know that these people were hurt, no doubt, but when you put all the numbers together and put the gematria coding together, things just make a whole lot more sense. And then also too, it's just funny because you have these trolls, especially the last one that called in, the last other troll that called in, who switches off the one the actual real.
GAD, for some reason, it got broken up again. I don't know what's different today. Your call's always clear, but not today.
My bad. So yeah, no. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but there's something. It's okay, just go. But something's off today, just so you know in the future.
Okay, you know what? I think it might be.
Oh, now he went all the way mute. If you can still hear me, for some reason you went all the way mute now.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
That sounded clear right there.
Okay. What I was saying was that, your information about the Jesuits and the 201 number, it exposes a lot, and it shows a lot more things that, people like myself weren't previously privy to. So I would say that your information this whole coding of gematria has been the most eye-opening of anything, going back as far as I can go back, as far as like 2012, 2011, when I was searching for a lot of the truth and whatnot. And mind you, part of it is based off of the things that I believe in as far as the scriptures and who the true Israelites, as far as the 12 tribes, pertain to. But even with that, I mean, the information that you have put out, right, also coincides with that as well. So it's exposed a lot more as far as information with the scriptures themselves, but also too this world as a whole. So you're not falling for the same old bullshit. Like, like I think one of the other callers you was talking about how fake this war seems. This shit is fake as fuck, man. Like this shit with Trump and Iran and whatnot, and understanding that the CIA infiltrated Iran back in the early 50s, right? And then putting things together with everything that we see as a whole, whether it be sports, whether it be these particular political parties, whether it be these countries and shit. It all goes back to the Vatican, and it's not to say that what I was saying before it cut off. Like for me, I started to learn about the Vatican and Jesuits a long time ago, like almost 10, 11, 12 years ago. So I already knew that they were kind of running things, but I also linked it up with the Jews and the state of Israel. But then the more you look into it, the more you understand the order of the Vatican. And of course, you go into history of who created the banks, of course, the Templar Knights and whatnot. I would say the epiphany was more leaning towards them. And then when I started to stumble on your work, it made a whole lot more sense, especially with the shit that happened in 2020. So to me, I think I think you, as far as the truth community or the people who are labeled truth tellers and whatnot, I would say that you would probably be the most strongest one based off the information that's put out. And it's not to say that the everybody else that is sincere, that are authentic, that put out their information are not. There definitely are. But I think this is the most important aspect to this. And I'm just saying, from me myself, it has been the most revealing from my work and the things that I've done, right? And understanding certain things now, and now you can just kind of see through everything. And of course, the sports aspect and whatnot we see, and you can use that to, unfortunately, people are being sacrificed for these sporting events and these different events and whatnot. But you start to see all this shit most of this shit is fake. Now there is real blood that's required to feed the beast, so to speak, because these people do worship, a lot of these different entities and, Satan and themselves. But you start to understand that a lot of this shit is nothing but a fucking script. And, you just start to see what, how, like for me, myself, I deal with biblical prophecy. I start to see now a lot of these things are starting to unravel, and I'm starting to understand even more so how it actually plays out versus, people jumping at every fucking headline. Oh shit, Iran just bombed so and so. World War III is at the doorstep. Well, no, you can just step back, look at it, look at the numbers, look at what location, time, specifics, and whatnot. And I'm wrapping it up. You can just sit back and no, don't panic. Just see what's happening, move, and go from there. And I think your work has definitely revealed a lot of things that I don't think anybody was really privy to. And I think that, honestly, nobody else has brought out, to be honest. Let's be honest. Let's be real about it.
I appreciate you saying that. Again, this information really does connect a lot of dots, and anyone can apply it every day and see that this is what they're doing. And it does answer questions. And a lot of us thought the same way. We were blaming more Israel and small hats. And then you start to say, well, wait a minute, hold on. There's actually something standing behind this because everybody's moving the same way. And wait a minute, I had to ask the question. I said, wait a minute, who gave us this calendar? So look at that, a Jesuit. Who's responsible for standardizing the English language? Oh, the Jesuits. Man, these people are into everything. And yeah, it happened for me too. In 2020, I started to say, well, wait a minute. This face telling me about cooties, this face telling me about cooties, this face telling me about cooties, this governor telling me about cooties, this president. I was like, look at them. They're all Jesuit educated. They're all moving the same way. They all have the same connection to the number 56, and that's the number on the damn virus. So, I mean, what else could it be, you guys? I mean, just the dots connect. They connect too well. And I feel like everyone who's not coming around to it is just being stubborn and wants to. A lot of people cannot blame the Society of Jesus because of the third word in that name. It's easier to blame the religion that they didn't come up in. But at the same time, there's not a big separation between Judaism and Christianity. Christianity is connected. And not to mention the Messiah that you believe in is from Judea. So anyway, and don't forget the damn Holy Bible. The Holy Bible equates to 201, just like the Jesuit order, like Jewish mysticism. And for all you guys out there, well, this is Jewish mysticism. Yeah, it is. But the Jesuits and the Templars before them took a lot of knowledge from their crusades and their pillaging of all these people across the world. And like I always say, if they realized there was real power in this knowledge and this way of operating, don't you think they would implement it? So anyway. I'll always appreciate hearing from you, GAD. If you want to give one last word, I'll get one more people in here, and I got to get my daughter.
Okay, yeah, just real quick. And I just want to say something too about that. It even mentions in the scriptures about the like when in the book of Revelations about the whore that's decked in scarlet and red and whatnot. That's actually a reference to the Vatican. So the more you, once again, and obviously they control the state of Israel. Obviously, they're the ones that you know, whether you go into Alberto Rivera, and I'm wrapping it up right now, Alberto Rivera, or there was another Jesuit, former Jesuit missionary that somebody sent me back in 2019. I don't even remember the video, but they play both sides of everything that you can think of, whether it be politics, whether it be religion, whether it be, you know, anything that you can think of, wars and whatnot. So it's all pointing to them, and it makes sense. And I fear it makes sense because it does talk about a false Messiah, and then you have the Jesuits, then you have the you know, IHS, which is Isis Horus and Set, and of course it's Jesus Hominum Salvator, but Isis Horus and Set is there. So, and of course, a lot of the Babylonian mystery school system religion that they worship. So it's all it just, to me, it's the main thing, and it's the mystery of iniquity that is being revealed to me. So
Indeed. Always good hearing from you, GAD. Appreciate it, man.
yeah, no problem.
All right, take care. And don't forget, you guys, State of Israel 201, all these 201 rituals from the beginning of that nation with David Ben-Gurion up to the present with Netanyahu, to us sending all that money to Israel on the 201st day of the war. Not to mention it was 95 billion, like the Jesuits were created to counter the 95 Theses. Let's get Emmanuel in here, and then that's probably going to be it. What's up, Emmanuel?
Hey, Zach.
How you doing, man?
This is the first time I'm calling into the show.
Thank you.
And I'm from Africa.
I like the accent.
I'm from a country called Kenya.
Okay.
And I'm sure that I'm the only one who listens to your channel in the whole country. It might be a long shot, but I'm the only person. And I love the work that you do. I think it's the most important knowledge I've ever encountered in my entire life. Currently, I'm 26 years old, and I think this information that I've come across is the most important information that is relevant to me in this world. And I just wanted to say that I use Gematria mainly for sports betting. I think it's the best application for Gematria in this world. Although the information that we give out is also very important, the deaths and everything. But in order to make an advantage in learning Gematria, I usually sports bet. So I think that's one of the most important applications of Gematria, to keep it short.
We all got to pay the bills, right?
Yes, we do. And today I had a bet on Jose Caballero to have a hit on the Yankees. And
betting on the MLB in Kenya. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the only one doing this, so it's quite fascinating. And funny enough, the whole roster had a hit, except for only one player, and that one player was Jose Caballero.
Oh my!
That's crazy.
That's unfortunate, but yeah, it does happen. So
yeah, so I was thinking maybe they're looking out for me. The fact that I've bet on him, maybe now all of a sudden he doesn't have a hit and everyone else has a hit. So you see,
some days it happens. Some days it feels that way.
Yeah. Anyway, I love your information, man. I love what you do. I listen to you every day. And probably I'm the only person in Africa that will ever call you in your lifetime. So
we've probably had some callers from Africa when we did TFR. I don't know if you were here. I lost that radio show a couple of years back, but we used to get a lot of callers from all over the world with TFR. But it's been a while, so we're glad you're out there.
Okay. To finish up, if you, in your free time, if you can Google our president for Kenya, you'll see that his name matches with the Jesuit order. Exact. So maybe the Jesuit puppet. So this whole thing it goes across the whole world. Like the whole world, like they control everywhere, including Africa. Maybe such President William Ruto or just play around with it. I don't. Yeah, you see there are 154 and yeah, you see.
I do see it. Yeah.
It matches exactly. So like he's also controlled. I'm sure he's controlled by by the Jesuits and everyone.
He was put in on a very important day. I think it's September 13th, Caesar Borgia's birthday. So interesting.
Yeah. So it goes across the whole world, not only in America. I know most of your decodes happen in America, but it goes across the whole world, including
Indeed
Africa.
it does. Yeah, they're international, the Jesuits.
Yeah, but thank you, Zach, man. Thank you. You changed my life. Thank you, man.
Sorry about Jose Caballero today. You'll get it back next time. But yeah, thanks for calling in. It was great to hear from you.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
All right, take care. All right, I do have to go pick up my daughter. We're having a new babysitter. Today's the first day of the trial. I got to pick her up in 7 minutes, so I got to get over there. I want to say thank you to the super chatters. I'm hoping today went well. What I like about the babysitter, she has a little girl that's just 6 months older than my daughter, and they seem to already like each other. And my daughter's already taller than the one that's 6 months older, so just a little bit taller, but they're about the same size, which is a good thing. And anyway, thank you very much, Sally G. Thank you very much, Egyptian Deity. Thank you again, Cashville Lady. Thank you, Gematria Sense, for reminding us that mind control equals government. It sure does. And literally, government is to control the mind. That's what the word breaks down to. Lady Asha said, Zach, ever since I joined your Patreon, I've been better at calling games. I get the skepticism because I was a skeptic too. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people, I'd say you should come in out as a skeptic on any new information. What should make you less skeptical is watching the relevance day after day. And I know a lot of you guys haven't been here from the beginning, but if you were here from the beginning, there's no way you'd be doubting what we're doing. I mean, what we've done is unprecedented. 19 either with the Big 10. Thank you so much. All right, and my neighbors let me know my daughter is ready to get picked up right now, so I'm going to go get her, okay? Thanks again to everybody who participated today, and I might do this topic again, but I would like for people to call in and tell me who's dropping the truth bombs. Who else is putting the good information out in the world? I mean, in terms of rankings, like I'm not even in the top million, so there should be some people out here that are dropping the truth bombs, because once upon a time we got the recognition, but the last 3 years, I've had one video break out in the last 3 years, and YouTube took it down within 24 hours for hate speech, and there wasn't any hate speech in it. It was about unity, the ultimate irony. So anyway, we'll leave it there for now, you guys. Thanks again, and if anything big happens, I might find a way to get back today, but if not, I'll keep getting a chance. And if the babysitter thing worked out today, we might do it again tomorrow. So that'll give me a little window. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now. Have a great day. And until next time.